Hi, I am Alexis VCS Magno and I'm here to teach you about MATLAB. MATLAB is short for Matrix Laboratory. It is a special purpose computer program optimized to perform engineering and scientific calculations. The MATLAB program is a combination of a procedural programming language, an integrated development environment or IDE, that includes an editor, debugger, and an extremely rich set of functions that perform many types of technical calculations. It contains more than 1,000 functions in the basic MATLAB alone, and the toolkits extend this capability with many more functions in various specialties. These functions often solve very complex problems like solving different equations, inverting matrices, and so forth in a single step, saving you a large amount of time. The built-in MATLAB functions are almost always better than anything that an individual engineer could write on. Now, of course, MATLAB has its own advantage and disadvantage. Let's talk about them. MATLAB has many advantages compared to conventional computer languages for technical problem solving. Among them are the following. First is ease of use, platform independence, predefined functions, device-independent plotting, graphical user interface, and of course, MATLAB compilers. There are two principal disadvantages in MATLAB. First, it is an interpreted language, therefore can execute more slowly than compiled languages. Second is, of course, it is quite expensive. A full copy of MATLAB is about 5 to 10 times more expensive than a conventional C. And that's all for the advantages and disadvantages of MATLAB. We can all agree that the advantages are more than the disadvantages, so I think it is good to invest in the MATLAB applications. Now let's talk about the app itself. The MATLAB desktop contains the following. First is the current folder browser. It shows a list of the files in the current directory. Second is the detail window. It displays the properties of a file selected in the current folder browser. Third is the MATLAB editor. This is where you put your commands and functions you will be using. And of course, the command window. This is where you can type commands and see the immediate results. That will be all the things I will be discussing in this part. I only discussed 4 tools in the MATLAB since there are a lot of them. MATLAB can be also used as a calculator to perform basic mathematical calculations. These are the symbols for each mathematical operations. Of course, there is the exponentations, which is the symbol of a caret. Multiplication is the little star. I think it looks like a little star. I don't know the name of it, but it looks like a little star. And of course, for division, there is the slash. And for addition is the plus sign, of course, and for subtraction is the minus sign. Now let's try it on the MATLAB application. So here we are in the MATLAB application, and let's try some mathematical operation symbols. So here an example. Let's say 2. So let's try the exponential first. So 2 squared is equals to 4. Because if you square the 2, it will be 4. So it is correct. Now let's try the multiplication. So let's say 3 times 4. It should be 12 since 3 times 4 is equals to 12. So the answer is 12, which is correct. And then let's try division. So let's say 4 divided by 2 The answer should be 2. Now let's try addition and subtractions. Let's try it in a single operation. So let's say 3 plus 2 minus 3. Charan, the answer is 2, which is correct. So that's how you use mathematical operation symbols. So there is also called an assignment statement. The general form of an assignment statement is a variable name. And let me type it so you will not be confused. Variable name is equals to expression. Expression and semicolons. So let's try. Oh, and by the way, if the equal sign is used in the MATLAB code, then the result of the calculation is saved in the variable name. So let's try. Our variable name is I love mom Pat is equals to P. And then we have, I should use the a semicolon. So semicolon. And then let's say our second variable name is equals to 6 and then semicolon. So in the variable I love mom Pat is save the expression 3, and then the pretty mom Pat saved the expression 6. So now let's proceed to arrays and variables. Array is the fundamental unit of data in any MATLAB program, and it is a collection of data organized into rows and columns and known by a single name. So arrays can be classified as either vectors and matrices. Vector is used to describe an array with only one dimension. There are two types of vectors, row vector array and then a column vector array. A row vector array, it has one row with multiple columns. So it's just basically a row of numbers. So let's have R is equals to bracket, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if we enter that, you can see it is a row column since it has one row and then multiple column. Here it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 column. So now let's have column vector array, which is the opposite of row. Row vector array, which it has one column with multiple array. I got confused there. So let's have E is equals to bracket 2 and semicolon. Semicolon means that it starts a new column. So let's have 2 semicolon 4 semicolon 6 semicolon 8 and then 10, and we close the bracket and we enter it, and it will display our expressions in a column vector array. So you can tell the difference in the row vector array and a column vector array. So now let's proceed to matrix. Matrix is used to describe an array with 2 or more dimensions. So it basically means 2 or more rows and 2 or more columns. So let's have C is equals to bracket, let's say 2 and then space, and then we put a semicolon to start a new column, and we will have 4 and 6, and then 6 and 9. So then we close the matrix and then we enter it, so it will display this variable. As you can see, it has 2 columns which has the multiples of 2, and the other one has the multiples of 3. And then we have called row 1, row 2, and then row 3. So that is a matrix array. And also there is a scalar array. It is an array with one column and one row. It basically means one variable. So let's have ano pa ba? H is equals to 4. If you enter it, it has only one variable. That is a scalar array. And now, as you can see, as you can notice, the size of an array is specified by the numbers of rows. So now, una yung row, bago yung column, and then with the number of rows mentioned first. Now, let's talk about variables in MATLAB. MATLAB variable names must begin with a letter and followed by a combination of letters, numbers, and then underscore character. So as you can see in this example, it contains a lot of letters. So that is a variable name. So let's try a variable name with a underscore. So let's say with honor underscore qt is equals to 4 and semicolon. So the with honor qt is equals to 4 and it will save the 4. And then MATLAB is a case sensitive, which means that uppercase and lowercase letters are not the same. So let's have with honors but with the uppercase qt, and let's have the CSA or uppercase. So that's that, and then 5. Now you can see here that it is saved differently. So we have with honors lowercase, which is equals to 4, and then with honors with the uppercase, which is 5. So yep, that's a case sensitive. Now let's create a variable in MATLAB. That's currently what we're doing. Since you can see C is equals to here, and then H is 4. That's basically creating a variable in MATLAB. Now let's go to the next topic, which is initializing with shortcut expressions. So the general form of using a colon operation is variable, let me type it. Variable name is equals to first number of the series, and then colon operator, stepping increment, which is typed as INCR. It is a nice stepping increment, and then colon operator and the last number of the series. So let's try having a variable name of C. I already have that. P is equals to 2, stepping increment of 4, and then the last value is 20. So if you enter it, you will have the first variable is 2, and as you can tell, the last variable here is 18, because if you plus 2 to 4, which is equals to 6, and then 6 plus 4 is equals to 10, and then 10 plus 14 is equals to, 10 plus 4 is equals to 14, and then 14 plus 18 is equals to, 14 plus 4 is equals to 18, and then 18 plus 4 is equals to 22. But we said our last number in the series is 20, so it will not go past the 20. But if we type x2 is equals to 2 with a stepping increment of 4, and the last number in the series is 22. So if you enter it, it will have the 22. So what is the last here will be your last number. But if you exceeded, it will not input it. So okay, so if you have a stepping increment of 1, you may use this form instead, which is variable name is equals to first number of the series, colon operator, and then last number of the series. So let's have an example. F2 is equals to 2, and then the colon operator, and the last number of the series is 10. So if you enter it, you will have stepping increment of 1, as you can tell, 2 plus 1 is 3, and then so on and so forth, and then your last number is 10. So that's how you use shortcut expressions.